I hope you guys are taking notes. I really do. Praise the Lord. All right, guys, I got another couple more questions for you before we wrap up. Let's really give everything we got for these last ones because these ones are really good. In Revelation 3:17, it says, "You say, I am rich, but you do not realize you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked." A man may appear successful on the outside, but feel empty in his personal life or his relationships, right? So how do we create a church culture where men can be real about emotional or relational emptiness without fear or shame, right? Because as believers, we act or may feel as if we must always be feeling this fire for God, right? So how can we create this place where when we're feeling weak, when we're feeling unfed, when we're feeling weary, how can we create an atmosphere for us to come and drink from the fountain and not feel shame because we need that?
One aspect I would say, it always starts with the leaders. I'm gonna give a shout out to Job over here. Job is one of our leaders at the church that I attend to, and one thing that Job does really well to lead us is that he's very vulnerable about his past struggles, or maybe even his current struggles, or the detriment that might be going on in his life. And he's very vulnerable to that. So as a disciple under Job, that helps me be able to be vulnerable as well. It helps me be able to share as well. If I see my leader become vulnerable, now I'm like, okay, now I can be vulnerable. And also, we have a very reachable leader. I can talk to, if I see Job, I can talk to him, and Job won't just treat me like I'm some type of, you're just like a church member. Job will have a conversation with me. Job will ask me how I'm doing. Job will ask me how my week was. And so I always say, in order to create spaces like that, your leadership, if you're, a man of God told me is that the effectiveness of a congregation is based off the pastor of that congregation. So if your pastor is not effective, neither will your church be. If your leader is not effective, neither will your team be. So I would say it starts at the head. If your leader of whatever space you're trying to be is not effective, then the church, the team, whatever you be will not be effective. So it must start at the head.
Wow. I believe it starts with, when it comes to church culture, I believe that it starts with teaching. Teaching that the church can accommodate those things, and that the purpose of the church is to accommodate those things and to help us to grow and to mature in those areas. Because sometimes I ask myself this question of where did we get the idea that those aspects aren't essential? Because kind of like what you were saying earlier, God created the whole being of man, body, soul, and spirit. And he didn't create those things outside of the accommodations that he made for him. Like he created the physical body, he created the Garden of Eden. He created the Garden of Eden. And when it came to the soul of man, he didn't leave the soul of man alone. He gave the soul of man his spirit. So when it comes to the church context and creating a church culture that can accommodate just that aspect of the vulnerability of man, I think it, like I said, it goes back to just teaching that God actually cares about those aspects because he created it.